Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We got to talk about this BB23 Eviction episode, and we might have some spoilers tonight, so watch out.
That's right. We are keeping an eye on this HOH comp that is still going on. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And we have a Patreon. You can support us there. There's a link, and it's in the description for you to click if you can't type that into your web browser. So
yeah, check that out. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
The HOH comp is going on right now, so we are going to quickly give you spoilers.
Should we do the song? We don't normally get to do it on Thursdays.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Oh, spoilers.
Love it.
Yeah. Everyone has fallen except for Tiffany and Kyland.
Whew.
Oh, boy.
One of them will be the HOH.
Yeah.
One of them should probably not be the HOH.
One of them really said she was not going to go for this one.
That's
but
Tiffany.
A lot of people did not want the other person to win. And so here we are. And I think she's hanging on out of spite.
Yeah, right. Just to let him know.
She's like, I refuse to let you win this.
Yeah.
I'll figure something else out later.
Yes.
Is what she's thinking. Yeah, unfortunately, the first three to drop was Big D, Alyssa, and Claire.
Ugh. I really was hoping that Claire would stay in it until like the final two and make a deal.
Make a deal,
least,
right?
You know, like
get some safety out of it.
Try to guarantee your safety. Because you have brought up how silly this whole arrangement is for her to have to throw a competition. And I wonder if there were any like rules that production was trying to get her to follow with, like, you've got to throw it by top 4 or whatever. You know, I don't know if there were any stipulations, but.
Well, the first 3 to fall are the have-nots. So I have to imagine she was hanging on past that.
Yeah.
And she just could not do it.
Right.
Big D and Alyssa fell pretty quickly. Alyssa apparently got nauseous and said she kind of blacked out. But then it was a while before anyone dropped. And I think Claire was just like, oh my God, I can't hang on any longer. So didn't work out. She was not able to make any deals.
Yeah.
And now she's a have-not.
Yeah. Well, there's, I think, even more to talk about.
Of course.
About that. But let's save it till the end of this recap, because we got to recap this eviction episode.
We got to start from the top of this episode. This was an interesting episode. Kind of funny.
Yeah, it was.
We get some fun conversations like Alyssa being like, Claire, oh my God.
You are the last white
person.
That's so funny.
Isn't that crazy?
And they're like, no white men on jury. And Xavier's like, probably the first time in history, but can we talk about something else? Like anything else?
Gosh, this was so funny. We did talk about this. Was it Monday?
Yeah.
Because we caught just a part of it on the feeds. We didn't get all of this on the feeds, but we did see Xavier just like losing it, so freaked out that Alyssa.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem kind of, I don't want to say dumb, but she's just like,
well, she has no idea. Nobody knows about the cookout. She has no idea that what she's saying is like potentially blowing up the secret alliance.
You don't think you're playing a game and everything matters?
It's true. Everything does matter. Yeah.
Claire, the way Claire reacted is like, yeah, no, I've thought about this.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the math. I remember when Christian left and he was the last white guy. Like, she's already been through this. And Alyssa's just like, what? This is the world we live in.
And Xavier's in the bathroom like, if you keep talking about this, we can't keep you around. Okay? So you need to zip your lip.
Xavier, you're talking 1 extra week, buddy.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
calm down. It is what it is.
Right.
But it's very funny to see him freak out. Then we get Hannah flying out of a hammock.
Oh my God.
She actually did injure herself.
Her
wrist is also injured, but they're like worried about her head. Is she concussed?
The way they put this together, it was like everything happening at the same time, which kind of felt like real life. Yeah. You know, it didn't feel like they were piecing together 2 separate things. Like this kind of was all going down at the same time. But this beetle, you just think, I mean, I probably would behave the same way if there was a giant beetle like that in the backyard. I would be flying out of the hammock too. But Big D's like, 2 people flying out of the hammock.
You can't fly out of the hammock when you're Big D.
So Hannah thunk lands on the wood base of the hammock. Meanwhile, Claire and Oz are making surf and turf, right? And everything's going great. We're going to have a big old feast. The smoke starts drifting out of that oven.
Wow. It's so funny because you think like Xavier, like what? They like run out to help.
Yeah.
But they're not the ones cooking. Ozza's straight up just, she's right there. She didn't run outside
she did
and
not
get distracted.
No, it was unrelated. They kind of made it seem like everybody rushed outside to take care of Hannah. No. Ozza and Claire were still in the kitchen. Still right there
in the kitchen.
Right.
Overseeing the fire. But thank goodness they did, because I mean, they opened. Claire's like, oh, it was actual flames.
A legit fire. It was leaping out of the oven. Claire is like smoke in the eyes. Oh, did we? Nope. Or sorry, we got the live feeds going. You go. Oh my God.
You are correct. My feeds were second behind you.
Shocked.
She, out of spite, was like, not gonna let you take this
today,
one, sir.
Kylan.
I will not sit through another one of your info gathering sessions.
Yeah. No.
For 4 hours.
I just had to sit through one-on-ones with you when you were just on the block. You weren't even the HOH. I can't imagine what you will do as HOH.
Tiffany is back-to-back HOH. Tiffany.
But this is not going to be a typical HOH for you either, Tiffany, because the double eviction is coming. So
it's going to be interesting. All right, we'll talk more about that at the end of this recap, because what does that mean when Tiffany is HOH?
What does that mean?
Oh, you fell. You tried your hardest. It didn't work out.
Okay, well, fire leaping out of the oven, right? It's on fire. The fire alarm's going off. They're running to get the fire extinguisher. It is just a mess. And then people are coming in from the backyard. I did love the moment in the backyard when Tiffany was like, Hannah, I just want to be sure you know that this was Big D's fault. And he's like, Tiffany, what is the matter with you? Why is that relevant right now? And she's like, you just can't be flying out of the hammock like that when Hannah's laying next to you, Big D. Like, I just wanted to know.
Later, she said something like, he's a catapult. I was like, oh, Tiffany will not. She's so hard on him. But true, you catapulted Hannah out. Meanwhile, thankfully, Claire and Ozza teamwork it. Dream work it.
Oh my goodness.
Are able to take the fire out as everyone's walking in and be like, wait, there's a fire?
What? Like, Hannah has a concussion and there's a fire? What's going on? But poor Claire with the smoke in the eyes, like, it really looked like that kind of burned her eyes initially.
Yes.
It was a mess, but everybody thankfully made it out okay. I mean, Derek F. was so apologetic to Hannah when she comes out of the DR with a giant ice pack on the back of her head. And he's like, what can I do? And she's like, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it. It was, everything was fine in the end. But that was a very sort of, funny comedy of errors.
Situation. It's so true that like everything goes wrong at once.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
The feeds were down for that. And it came back and people were talking about a fire and Hannah's injured. And you're just like, what happened? But it was hilarious to see it all.
It was. I'm glad they aired that. But they had to air that because we didn't get any campaigning from Sarah Beth and Kylan.
I'm sorry. Was Sarah Beth in this episode?
What? I didn't see anything from her until
she walked
the speech.
The door.
Yeah.
The campaigning was pointless. It did happen, but it was...
Why show it?
Why show it? Yeah. Because we're not even pretending to care who's going at this point.
We'd rather show the cookout all together in one room for the first time.
For the first time! I forget what day it was. The number, because I did write that down when it happened. It was day 50 whatever. And the first time that the cookout got together, it was so cute, but it was also hilarious that Xavier's like,
I know. He was not amused. They were like so excited. He was like, y'all woke me up for this.
You woke me up. I would be the same. I'd be like, great history. I'm tired.
Okay. I was in bed. Could we not have done this tomorrow?
Yes. Day 52. That sounds right. Yeah. Thank you.
But that's why that's part of the reason this alliance is so successful. They have been hidden, truly,
Hadn't been in the same room until day 52, and they fight. So that's the secret, guys.
Truly, work with people you hate.
Work with people that you visibly, audibly fight with, publicly fight with. No one will figure it out.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, now we do get a little bit of strategy, but has nothing to do with Sarah Beth.
Forward-looking strategy. This is like cookout thinking about their end games and like who they want to go to the finals with. Xavier's in the diary room telling us like it could be Derek F, it could be Kylan, it could be Hannah, it could be Tiffany. I don't care. I think I beat all of them in a final 2. And I think that he does have a legit shot to win against anyone in the cookout, really.
Wait, who?
Xavier.
Oh, my first note is Big D, and so I missed.
Oh.
And I was like,
no.
Wow, David, we need to talk about this.
Big D may be in the final 2 with many different people, but there's no chance he's winning.
That's more along the line of how I was thinking. And then you moved to X. And so,
yes.
Okay, I'm there with you now.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's where I had a little bit of a problem, though. Because, yes, that's correct. X has a great chance of winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
He has played a flawless social game. But then he said, I might stick with Tiffany and Hannah because I've been more involved in the game than they have.
That's where he's a little bit wrong.
And that's where I was like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Sir? No.
Still think that he could potentially beat them, but I don't think that he's been maneuvering through the game better than that. Like Tiffany especially is playing the best strategic game, but Hannah is also playing a better strategic game than Xavier.
Yes. If you say involved, he said involved, that makes me think game, like strategy. Tiffany and Hannah all day, every day are strategizing and playing this game. But X, absolutely great social game. You know, he does step up when he needs to, but he's fairly passive.
Yep.
So it was just the phrasing of that sentence that I was like, huh?
Uh-huh.
No.
Yeah.
But the little pieces we got here didn't stress that Xavier is actually in a little bit more trouble than he was previously, because he has been sitting pretty this whole time.
Yeah.
But we didn't get all of the conversations with like Hannah, and like they are saying we do have to go after X. Kylan did say to Tiffany, we have to go after X.
Yeah.
Like, he is going to have to sort of win out here at the end.
But he could.
Because absolutely.
Yeah.
But they are looking at him more than they were. So he's not sitting pretty as much.
Right. Like, because he's going to have to contend with the fact that there are people like Ozza and Derek F who are like, nobody wants to get them out because they're not threats. Like, he is a legitimate threat in a lot of ways. So he's got more to worry about than some other people in the cookout. But you know, Kylan is like it's the 3 guys who we see talking in the have not room initially. And, you know, Kylan is very smartly, you know, acknowledging like Xavier could be having these conversations with anybody. And I'm sure he is. This is Big Brother. So, you know, they are not fully trusting each other. So I really am sort of interested to see how this all shakes out, especially with a couple of double evictions coming up and who's slipping on who. We do get that bite from Derek F, who's like, I could out argue anybody in the final 2. And I'm like, you are a good talker. Full stop.
But he has yet to vote correctly, so I'm not sure.
You mean in the way that he speaks when he votes in terms of voting correctly?
Yes. If he's talking about how he can talk people into voting for him to win, but he's voting, he's e-voting.
He's e-voting every week.
I don't know.
Sadly.
I don't know if I'm like, you know what, he's got a good point. I'm not saying that. No.
Yeah. I mean, truly, he hasn't voted to evict anybody.
No, he made a new thing. It's called e-voting.
Yeah.
You'll get an email about it. Don't worry about it. It's trending on Twitter. Yeah. We do get Kylan's my real final 2 is with Tiffany.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's because he thinks that Tiffany is at the same level of like not loved. Like he knows Xavier's loved.
Yeah.
Can't go to the end with Xavier. He's loved. Tiffany is not as loved, but she has been playing this game. So I feel like we're even. I feel like that's what he's thinking. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
I think Kylan needs to take Big D to the end.
Of course.
Hands down.
Yeah. If anybody is any kind of a threat, get them out over Big D, because Big D is not a threat. But maybe he thinks Big D is really well liked or something. And so maybe he views Big D as a threat that way. I don't know. But interesting, because I mean, Tiffany looks at I love all the cam talking from Tiffany. God bless. She's been killing it all season with that and like really letting us know where her head is, which I really appreciate. But she's like, I ain't taking Kylan.
Right.
I'm taking Hannah.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
But she does want to take Kylan a little further than she used to, which is, I find that weird. Like Kylan should go for her game, but she's now flipped that to X. X needs to go first. Big D needs to go first, then X.
Yeah.
And then if Kylan can take me to final 2, fine, I'll beat him, she thinks, which I agree.
Yeah.
But if she makes the choice, she takes Hannah. And I'm like, girl, that's too dangerous for my liking.
Yeah,
you need to just...
It's a little close.
You need to be like there with Azza and Hannah, and you are set to win the game.
Yes.
Whew.
All right. Okay, then we get this amazing jury check-in. This is maybe the best jury segment I've ever seen.
Oh, well, second to anything with Devon.
Agreed.
Okay.
So it's maybe the 8th best jury segment I've ever seen on Big Brother. But I just love, like, this mattered, right? Like, the stuff that we saw here really matters in terms of, like, them figuring out what's going on and figuring out who's running the game. Like, these two especially are, like, putting the pieces together. And, you know, once the cookout starts to break up and head to jury, like, they're going to get so much more information. But
first, let me say, Brittany, I stand by being the first juror was the best decision anyone has made in this game. She is priceless in this position.
She is.
First
the reactions.
She's dancing and karateing all by herself, and that's what we need.
Yeah.
And then her reactions were incredible.
Yeah. This is why.
This is a producer's dream.
Oh, my God.
She's like, what? This person? This happened? And I am here for all of it. Thank you.
Yeah, she just cannot believe that she's seeing Derek X. And he's like, you know what? I can't believe I'm here either.
Right.
But I do know what I did wrong. And she's like, what'd you do wrong? Like, she's asking a million questions. And he's like, girl, I can't tell you right now. Like, we got to sit down. I'm going to play the footage for you. Like, there's a way that this has to work. So let's go sit down and I will show you everything and, like, relive my nightmare.
We all relived it. And we were like,
yeah.
But what's wonderful is that he's like, hey, here's important info I got from Kylan. Alliance. They're all still together.
Yep.
But then Brittany is able to add in, they have duos outside to protect them. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't this happen in the house?
I know. I mean, she said, he's like, you know, Kylan gave me this information. He didn't tell me what the alliance is. And she's like, interesting. Because he's the one who's like, Kylan, Tiffany, Xavier, Azza, maybe Hannah and Derek X. Like, he kind of was piecing this together with Claire in the house we saw.
Yeah.
But he's like continuing to just, like, you know, make those pathways connect in his brain, which is good because you got to, like, really let it sit and let it sink in. Yeah. But Brittany's like, that actually would be genius because Xavier has Alyssa and Tiffany has Claire and and all of a sudden Derek X is like, this is the most brilliant secret alliance of all time.
They do have duos. Yes. This is, I mean, it's great to see that they are respecting it and appreciating, like, wow, we got outplayed.
Yeah.
But it's funny because he takes Hannah off the list. He's like, I don't know about Hannah. And then he takes her off the list. Like,
I know. Because he's like, she would have told me, I think. Because I was her duo.
And this is the key. I say this like every video now. This is the key of why the cookout can't be discovered.
That's right.
Is because everyone thinks that way.
That's right.
Well, Hannah would have told me.
Yeah.
Claire's thinking, well, Tiff would have told me.
Yeah.
No.
SB is thinking, well, Kylan would have told me. You know?
So here we are. No, they did not. No. And you are in the dark and now you're in the jury.
Yeah. So we go to the live vote. First time we've seen Sarah Beth this episode. Welcome to Big Brother, Sarah Beth.
Oh, wait. Was she on the block? Was this her episode?
Yeah. She gives a good speech.
Yes.
You know?
I appreciated her speech. It was all game. It was like, look, I have regrets. I've made mistakes. I don't want you guys to have any regrets. Really think about who's best for your game.
Yeah.
Here.
It's not too late to change your mind.
Yeah. I appreciated that.
Yeah. I mean, this plea is too late. Like, nobody's going to change their mind. Although I don't think if you'd made it at any point, it would have changed anybody's mind. But good for you for, like, not just saying, like, love you guys. It was so much fun playing. Respect. You know, like, she gave it one last go.
She was in athletic gear. She was holding out hope. She did do campaigning all day yesterday and this morning. Like, she was hitting those last pitches.
Oh, yeah.
Pledging her loyalty to Tiffany. That was her big mistake that she said, I was too isolated with Kylan. I should have stayed loyal to you and Claire, the jackpot jokers. And I agree. You should have.
Yeah.
You should have worked on that relationship weeks ago from the inception of jackpot. But yeah, unfortunately that wasn't going to work out for you.
Yeah. Kylan's speech was
No, I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't even make a note about it. Whatever.
Done.
So, like we said, Derek F. Gladly 2 votes Sarah Beth.
Yeah.
And then Claire gets to cast her like fake tie-breaking vote, which
if it was a tiebreaker.
Yeah, for Sarah Beth. And then it's down the line, except Tiffany casts a sympathy vote.
Let's talk about this. Because it makes no sense to most people who are watching. So remember when Kyland was like, take me off the box so I can give her a sympathy vote.
Yeah,
and people were like, no, that does not make sense. But it started with like Xavier being like, I'll just do it then, dude. If you want her to have a vote, I'll just do it. Which is not what Kyland wanted, but it started this discussion of, fine, if you want her to have a sympathy vote, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And then it moved off of Xavier and onto Azza. Azza was like, I'll do it. No problem. Because Xavier was like, Alyssa has a problem with me doing this. And she did. So Azza was like, I'll do it. That's fine. I'll give her a sympathy vote. This morning, when Sarah Beth did her like last pitch to Tiffany, and she was like, I'll be so loyal to you. Kyland will be gone. Don't worry about him. Yeah. I'll be back with you. Yeah. And Tiffany was like, girl, you're really, really good. Let me think about it. She went back to the cookout and she was like, look, I want to be the one to do the sympathy vote, you guys, if it's cool with y'all. And of course, they're like, sure, whatever, Tiffany, go right ahead. And then Tiffany turns to the camera and she's like, that just helps my jury management.
Yeah.
I'll just give her the vote and I'll make sure. And Tiffany did. She hugged Sarah Beth and she said, that was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, the cookout's just letting Tiffany take this route with jury management.
I know. Because I feel like they kind of sniffed it out with Kyland. You know, they're like, this is like jury stuff that you're trying to do, cast a sympathy vote for Sarah Beth. But then Tiffany walks in and it's like, let me do it. And they're like, sure, whatever.
We're like,
go ahead,
okay,
Tiffany.
if you really want to. Yeah. Tiffany has been like fighting to get Sarah Beth out for weeks.
Yeah.
And yet here we are with Tiffany getting the sympathy vote for her. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Get it, girl.
Well, there wasn't only one picture who gets blacked out on the memory wall on Sarah Beth's way out the door. She slams that door so hard that Oz's photo goes black and white too. It was fun.
It's so sad because like there's barely sadness for Sarah Beth to go. But in this moment, she gets a second. They're like, what? Ozza!
Oh my God, no! They're like all screaming and crying and laughing and whatever. And Sarah Beth must be like, wait, what?
They don't even remember that I was.
Me?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. They already forgot me. They've moved on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But please put Oz's photo back.
I know.
Not yet.
Yes.
Okay. These goodbye messages were interesting.
Yeah. Well, I got to say real quick before we get to the goodbye messages, Sarah Beth just blissfully ignorant about any kind of an alliance. Like, you know, hearing her talk about like, I really think people looked at me as a threat in the house and Kyland was really seen as an island by himself. That is just not the read, you know?
She has not had great reads, but she's also been very warped by Kyland.
Yeah. And
she isolated herself with the one person who was warping her. So not going to give you good reads.
No. Certainly not. So she has no inkling that like, oh, maybe people were working together against me. But then with these goodbye messages, she gets that inkling.
First, we see Hannah be a little savage. I like these edits that Hannah's getting these days.
I don't. She needs to be nicer in her goodbye messages for her jury management, I think.
The reason I like it is because it's true to who Hannah is. I watch a savage fierce Hannah on the feeds. And then I turn on this episode and they're like, oh, goody, goody Hannah. And I'm like, that's not, no. Give me the real Hannah. And so, yeah, I don't know if that's going to hold her back in any way. But this one wasn't that bad. It wasn't like super mean. But it wasn't, like,
but it was just very much like, see you later, Sarah Beth, won't miss ya. You know, it's just like, no warmth.
She said, you throw people under the bus.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. She does do that.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Okay. Then Azza said they have a mission. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Keyword. I know that like Sarah Beth isn't going to understand what that means.
No.
What kind of mission would you have?
Exactly.
But then Kyland, same thing as he said
alliance.
to DX.
Yep. My secret alliance wouldn't let me continue in this game with you. So, you know, Sarah Beth understands that, okay, Ozza must be in that too, because Ozza's talking about a mission. And okay, now I know there's a secret alliance. So Ozza must be in the secret alliance. I mean, she's going to get to that jury house and she's going to know real quick what was going on.
Yeah. She'll be able to piece maybe some of it together with them.
Because what they're just week after week, they're going to see, like, they're going to watch the footage and see Kyland up next to Sarah Beth. And they're going to say, yeah, the plan that we figured out last week, this makes sense with that. You are the duo. Kyland went up next to you, but they had the votes to keep Kyland and you went home. So like,
hopefully that will help DX realize, okay, so then I was the one going, like, they got me out because I was with Hannah. Hannah's in the group.
Yeah, that one's a little trickier because he's up next to Claire when he went home. But still, Derek X, put it together. You were Hannah's duo.
I mean, some Cookout members are going to get into the jury, so they will maybe give more information.
Insight.
I don't know if they're going to fully tell things, but we will see. Then we get to the Endurance HOH comp on the feeds.
Julie straight up says it's the Cookout versus Alyssa because Claire's got to throw this. I mean, production.
They spelled it out.
They're not even trying to pretend anymore that the Cookout is going to turn on each other. They're like, Alyssa's only hope is to win this.
And it is. That's true. And unfortunately, Claire had no hope unless she could hang on and make some sort of deal. But she didn't. Yeah. So we already talked about the HOH a little bit, but let's talk it through. I'm still very mad that Claire wasn't eligible and had to throw this. I think the fact that she went out third shows that she wasn't going to win this anyway.
True.
But Big D fell first. Alyssa fell second. She very quickly fell. She said she blacked out.
Yeah, I thought she had a chance.
I totally thought this was her comp.
Because she did really well on the wall comp. Like this kind of endurance comps seem like something.
But Dizzy,
she can
you
do.
never know who's good with Dizzy.
That's right.
You really need to like spot. Ozza was like staring at the ground and I was like, girl, you gotta puke. Like that's not the way to do this. So those were the first three out. Claire was the third. So they are our have-nots.
Yeah. And then I think like Xavier and Hannah were out pretty quickly after that. But it, like we've said, it came down to Tiffany and Kyland. But Tiffany, I think, is potentially in a really tricky spot here because Claire is her duo, right? She kind of had two duos with Claire and DX.
But Claire's her official one.
Yeah. So she's not going to put up Claire. That's the whole thing. You don't put up your duo. So she's going to put up Alyssa and Xavier. Yeah. But then what if Alyssa wins veto?
Yeah. So this is what happens on the feeds is that the Cookout talks nonstop over and over again, and they micromanage who's going to win these HOHs and what are your noms going to be. And in all of those conversations, Xavier and Tiffany were not going to take this HOH because no matter which one you put up, if they come down, the other one has to go up. And in some cases, like if Ozza had won this, if Big D had won this, you could just throw both of them up, Alyssa and Claire. It doesn't have to go with a duo.
Yeah.
And then you cover all your bases.
Yeah.
One of them's going home.
Yeah.
But this is going to be interesting. Tiffany's going to have to do a little extra side work and like try to get Claire to win veto if possible, some way naturally not be available to go up.
Yeah.
Block Alyssa from winning something.
It's a lot of ifs here.
Yeah.
And I just am not sure because, it's Tiffany just bringing attention to herself here kind of needlessly. Like she would have been fine. I don't think Kyland was going to go after her.
Kyland go after Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, why not I understand you don't want him to have it, right? Because you just had to sit through these long one-on-ones when Kyland wasn't even the HOH. He was on the block and having one-on-ones for hours with people to try to convince them to keep him. So she's probably like, I can't do another week of one-on-ones with Kyland. I can't.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Cause the chat's talking about like who was supposed to win this. Like ideally they were going to throw it to Big D or Ozza. Okay. Well, Big D stepped out there and they were like, okay, this is not a comp Big D is going to even be available for.
Right.
But Ozza did very poorly in this. She was like almost hurling the whole time. Everyone would have had to drop.
Yeah.
And Kyland by now. Kyland is not going to play the game he said he's playing. Did he agree that he would throw it? He said, sure, I'll throw it to Ozzy and Big G, but I would love to take it if I can. He's telling you he's not really going to drop.
Exactly. And the thing is, Alyssa dropped second, Claire dropped third. The rest of y'all can drop and give it to Ozzy.
Cookout could have dropped at that point. Yeah. Oh, whoops. We all puked at the same time and given it to Ozzy. But that is not the game Kylan plays. No. And I know Tiffany was just like, I'm not going to let you do this, Kylan. Because Tiffany could have dropped, but she was not going to give it to Kylan. So she just has a lot of splaining to do here, right? Like, they're going to ask the question, okay, why'd you go for this? She's going to say, because Kylan was still up. Yeah, but I don't think she has to say much more than that. They're going to say, Kylan, why didn't you drop? And he's going to be like, because I wanted it. And she's going to be like, well, I wanted it too. Because Kylan wouldn't say, well, I wasn't dropping because Tiffany wasn't dropping. You know, he's just going to say like, well, I wanted the HOH. And that's a bigger problem really than I think what Tiffany did. But she's going to, I mean, it's going to be an interesting week. Look, it doesn't really matter because Tiffany has her mission, right? If Alyssa wins veto and Claire is available to go up, she has to do it. There's no way out of it. She has to do it. No matter what that does to her game, no matter what she says to Claire, she has to do it. So do you think, I'm just throwing this out there. Yeah. Do you think there's any chance she would throw Derek F up? Instead of Claire? There's no way, right? Like she's not going to be the one to blow. Alyssa and X, Alyssa comes down and she puts Big D up and she's like, you know what? I want Big D out of here. No, she's not going to do it. I don't think she's going to do it. I think they've been very clear. Like we hit a point where they were like, no, it's the 6 all the way. Yeah. So I don't think she'll do it. I think she'll just have to figure out how to be like, I'm sorry, Claire. She might like tell Claire the truth at that point. Yeah. And be like, this is what's been happening. And I'm sorry, you have to go up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I say thank you, Tiffany. I could not do. I know. Just mentally, I can't watch. And she kind of just, I mean, you know, she was overthrown this week, even though her plan went according to plan. Like Claire was a shadow HOH for Tiffany. So she could say like, well, I didn't really get a full HOH. Yeah, exactly. She's going to be like, they took my Beyonce away. Yeah, right. I wanted my Beyonce again in a week, an actual week in the HOH room. Like, most people in the cookout understand not letting Kylan take it. Right. You know, even though I'm sure Ozzy is going to be like, why didn't everyone drop? Yeah, I know, really. You could have thrown it to me and none of you did. But, you know, like, we don't really want to see it just obviously thrown to somebody. True. I'd much rather watch a battle of two people there at the end, you know? Yeah. So coming up, obviously, we're going to have Xavier and Alyssa on the block. That's not a shocker at all. But Julie says we have Zingbot coming up. Zingbot. Can't wait for that. I love a Zingbot. And then we have 2 back-to-back double evictions. You guys, there is no triple. There's no triple. There is no triple. Everyone can relax. Calm down. The 16th is not a triple. But oddly enough, we have 2 doubles back-to-back. That is weird. And we still have a 2-hour on the 16th. Yeah. Which would be that second double, right? So I wonder, is someone coming back? Say it, Sarah. I was thinking the same thing. Then a double, that's 4 but people. Somebody comes back. Why do we have a 2-hour episode? Maybe we don't send these double eviction folks to the jury house right away. Maybe we sequester them somewhere else in a secret BB house room, maybe. And they wait for a little battle back between the 4 people. Yeah, maybe it's one real double and then what Canada calls a fake double, which is not an accurate term because it's still a double eviction, but those 2 people, one of them comes back in. Maybe. Don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate that a double is next week because odds are. Let's go. Speed it up. Alyssa Claire. So we don't need to stretch this out over 2 weeks anymore. Right. If it gets wonky and they don't go, they save themselves, fine and great and whatever. Great. Then there's drama. Absolutely. Yeah. Love it. But let's go ahead and hit a double this week coming up. Yes. if Alyssa does not win veto, she will go.
Yeah.
And honestly, what is her comp track record? Because I do believe
she's just been thrown stuff.
She's been thrown.
She was thrown OTEV, and
she was the only person to play for the roulette.
Yeah.
Did she win anything else? It's not great.
It's not a great track record. She's not the worst. Claire's
isn't great either.
Yeah.
So Claire's, she won. She was a captain, and she did win a wild card comp.
She did. The 2 people played.
But the coin thing was thrown to her.
Yeah.
Hilariously.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. That 2 people played the coin thing.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. You know, I kind of feel like it's just going to be easy to 6 for the cookout. So might as well have a double eviction, right?
I completely agree. Yep. Speed it up. And then I would love to see a battle back between.
Right. Whoever goes out, that would be, so this is 8th and 7th next week.
Yeah.
So that would be 6 and 5 and one of them comes back. Absolutely.
Do you think one of 6 and 5 or one of those 4?
I think it would be one of those 6 and 5 from that day.
I want them to keep the 2
these
from
2?
8 and 7, just because that gives us some potential for someone outside the cookout to be in the top 5, right?
Sure.
I don't know if they would do that, but
I don't see why they would. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Then just have a whole jury buyback, or like a jury vote. Like, let's vote someone back in DX.
Yeah. Yes, please, for my draft.
Somebody else
I would love that.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, that would be very fun though if the cookout starts to cannibalize themselves at 6 and they do some big move like take X or Kyland out and then they battle back in and one of them comes back and then they're mad at everybody and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
How about that?
We like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the draft, do we want to do a little update on where things stand? I know that I
believe you're winning, aren't you?
I know, but I am grasping onto that lead. Like I'm really holding on tight because it's getting close. You're getting all these points now. You were not really in it, and now all of a sudden you're in it.
I'm always in it, David.
Oh, you've got Kyland, so you are definitely always in it.
Yeah, I have Kyland, but I just lost Sarah Beth, who is not giving me a ton of points anyway.
Yeah.
But let me put in, well, let's see what you have 12.
Yep.
Busy has 11, and I have 8.
But now Busy's got Tiffany HOH, so Busy just got 2 more points.
Busy
not good news for me.
Got 2 more points. And you're about to lose a point because you're about to lose
2 points.
Because you have Xavier and Alyssa. I
know. So I need Xavier to win veto and take me back up.
They're both going to go on the block.
Not good for me.
Yeah. I need Claire. I've got Claire and Kyland left, so they need to win some things. I guess I should have been rooting for Kyland, but I was not.
Yeah.
To win HOH. Right. Oh, thank you, Lady Di. Yes, everybody, remember to give this video a thumbs up, please. You guys who joined us live, we appreciate you in the chat, talking to us, having fun with us. Yes. We love it.
We love it. And you guys who've been joining us later, you've been doing great with the comments lately.
Thank you.
Keep that up. We really appreciate that. That does help the channel. So leave us a comment this time. You know, tell us about Tiffany winning HOH again.
How do you feel?
How are you feeling about Sarah Beth? Oh, no one's going to comment on that.
Yes, they will. She's got some love out there. Come on.
Yes, let us know if you're sad that Sarah Beth went home.
So you just feel bad that she just got outplayed.
She did. Yeah, listen, don't, misconstrue that as any kind of hate towards Sarah Beth. It's just sort of like, it is what it is. She just went home. She got outplayed. And then if there is a battle back, who would you like to see come back? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. How do you feel about these 2 doubles back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know. Okay. So tomorrow I will be back to talk about the live feeds, but I can tell you right now,
it's going to be pretty quiet.
She's nominating Xavier and Alyssa.
Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe. You get the little notification.
Yep.
You'll see when I am live for that. And then Saturday, Survivor South Africa. And then once we have all the interviews out, David and I will do a full deep cast assessment for Survivor 41.
Hell yeah, we will.
And then we'll get that draft going. Survivor.
There's already some stuff out on the Survivor Instagram. Yes. We're getting some video footage, but we want some like meaty interviews.
I need them all. I need them all before I can truly judge how these people are gonna flop and how they're gonna shine. That's right. You know? Oh my gosh, Kathy C, that's right. The circle starts next week. Oh. I do not know when or how I'm covering it, but I will. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Again, subscribe so you get the notifications because oi. Yes. We got a lot going on.
And we will see you guys next time then.
Yes, we'll see you then. Bye.